We really talked about all the film things.
Haha, good one.
No one's ever worked that way in before, actually, so.
We literally did.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to All the Film Things. I'm your host, Elizabeth, and today we are celebrating Noirvember, which, thanks to film historian Max Alvarez, I've learned is a big deal in the film community. And today we are talking about Elevator to the Gallows, a French film from 1958 by Louis Malle. And my guest today
is my friend Cristina. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Cristina is also the host of Red Room Radio, which we'll talk about later on in this episode. Since we're celebrating Noirvember, do you often enjoy watching noir films?
Actually, I just discovered this from you.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, you taught me about this. I had no idea.
So I'll just call it out right now. We tried this a few weeks ago. And you had a really funny story about what went wrong with watching the film.
So, you said you didn't finish Elevator to the Gallows. Where did you leave off? Do you remember?
I watched 20 minutes.
What?
But I'm going to finish. See, my subtitles wasn't showing up in English.
What? How is that possible? Like, I thought it just comes up immediately on HBO Max.
No.
Wow. So, how did you watch it?
I was listening to it. I was looking up the words. You know, when you go on Translator, yes. So that's why I only did the 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
But it's okay because they say you have to click on it and go down and scroll and you'll see English. And I was like, oh, I feel stupid.
So you watched the first 20 minutes and you just did not understand anything that was happening?
No.
Oh my God.
I was like, Liz got me watching this French film with no English subtitles.
So now you've watched the film, right?
Yes.
So what did you think? What did you think of Elevator to the Gallows?
Can I get into like the beginning? Because I want to talk about how I was introduced to this film.
Yes.
I first went and watched it and I hated it because I was like, there's no subtitles. I can't hear anything. I mean, I can hear, but I don't know what they're saying. So now that I have watched it with the subtitles, I actually love it.
Yes.
It is so good. I would like to thank you for introducing me to foreign classic films.
Of course.
Now, I do have a critique. The ending, I understand the plot, but I just wish that Florence and Julien would have gotten away, like last minute, you know?
Did you think that they would? Because we don't see them ever together on screen. The only time is that first phone call and that first scene. And I think when he's stuck in the elevator overnight, she's like rattling the bars and he kind of hears it. But that's really the closest they get. So as you were watching it, you really thought they would reunite?
Yes. I thought it was going to be like a suspenseful thing at the end, like they end up coming together last minute. His car is gone because of Veronique and Louis, and they will just try to escape on foot or something. I don't know. So that's what I was thinking, like, okay, maybe that's what's going to happen, like some Bonnie and Clyde. Like, they're going to have to escape, like, on foot or something because a lot has happened overnight. So that's what I was hoping. But no, he got 10, well, allegedly getting 10 years, and allegedly she's getting 10 to 20. So I was like, what a sucky ending.
Really? I have a completely different, like, I did not expect Jeanne Moreau's. I hope I'm saying her name correctly now. But I thought that ending was so unexpected, how it tied together and how she was the one who is now getting the biggest consequence of being hit with about 20 years in prison. And the way she's talking about it, though, no more aging, no more days. I'll go to sleep. I'll wake up alone. How do you think she feels about going to jail?
Her life is over, but she feels like in somewhere in another parallel universe that her and Julien are together. Based off what she was saying about the photos, like they can't keep us apart.
And it's similar parallel to Veronique and Louis, I believe. After they left the motel, they go back to her place, and she's like, we'll be together in the headlines, because they plan to kill themselves by taking these pills. So it's kind of a parallel with Florence, because she's like, we won't be together in reality in person, but we will always be together. But wow, was she in love with him?
Yes. But the thing is, the two parallel realities with Louis and Veronique, it was a very, very cohesive, which made it a smooth storyline. I do like that. It also kept your attention, with everything happening with Florence and Julien. And also, are we going to take our time to talk about the beginning, or are we going to...
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about... I know this is sick, but this is like one of my favorite parts because it reminded me of something. And okay, you go first.
Well, no, but
I want to see if you're going to say.
There's something about the beginning that you want to talk about?
Yes, that I like is the scene.
Okay. Well, before you get into that, I just want to shout out that you gave a shout out to Bonnie and Clyde. I love that reference. So thank you for that. And it is kind of a Bonnie and Clyde like story, but almost. There's some loose parallels, I think, with Bonnie and Clyde. Not all the way where it's like, we rob banks and, with guns and everything. So the names, so it's Julien and Florence. They're the couple. And then there's Louis and Veronique.
Yep. Okay, it's Veronique.
Yes. The first time we hear her name was way later in the film. She was just known as the flower shop girl.
I think the director wanted to keep the mystery going with her. Yeah. Keep the audience like, okay, so what's her name? Who is she connected to more exactly? So I think that's what it was for. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
I think you're right. I mean, there was that mystery element, and especially this one scene, which I can't wait to talk about. But before we get into the scene that you especially want to talk about, I just want to read the plot summary from IMDb. A self-assured businessman murders his employer, the husband of his mistress, which unintentionally provokes an ill-fated chain of events. And it's based on the book by Noel Calif. I'm going to quote Phoebe Buffay. Americans always butcher the French language. All right, so what are you especially wanting to talk about from the beginning of the film?
Okay, I want to talk about the office scene with Julien and her husband. Is it Samuel?
I think...
Or probably getting the name confused.
The last name is Carola.
Okay, Carola. Well, Mr. Carola, I love that scene. It reminds... I know this is going to be kind of bizarre, but Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal? That's what I thought about, because how he had that knife and how he smoothly was able to get out that door. I'm like, but first off, the woman sharpening the pencil while he killed him, I was like, this is some smooth stuff. Yes. And then he used the knife to get out the door and lock it. I was like, okay, Smooth Criminal. I like that scene. That was smooth. That was something very James Bondy. Yes. James Bond would do.
I love that scene as well. And especially, we start off the film after the phone call. He goes and commits this murder. The quick editing of sharpening the pencil, and then right before he's about to do it, we see that shot of her sharpening the pencil, and then he's dead. And then he's trying to get out of there. I love that scene, and I love that you're comparing it to Smooth Criminal. I wish I've seen that music video recently, because it's been a minute. But I was learning about the inspirations for Louis Malle in directing this film, which, by the way, this was his feature film, and he became a prominent French director. Alfred Hitchcock and Robert Bresson were two of his big inspirations. Did you feel like maybe that scene in particular, or the film as a whole, reminded you of Hitchcock?
The suspenseful element and the daunting ending, yes, for sure.
It almost feels like a European Hitchcock film. Well, he is from the UK, but if he was a French director and more art house, then it would make sense for this to be a Hitchcock film. I don't know. I've just learned about this today, and I've been kind of trying to contemplate how to put into words the similarities, but I do think you're right that the suspensefulness of the film is very Hitchcock-like, and
And
The
the gloominess to it, because well, I don't know. Yeah, he kind of have like gloomy elements, because even when she was walking through the rain looking for her lover, that may not be horrific for men, but I feel like that's kind of like horrific for women. And Hitchcock kind of had that kind of, I don't even know the right word to use, but it's kind of like an anxiety, suspenseful buildup, because she's just wandering around looking for her man. Women can relate to that, but maybe men can't really relate to that. But when women put themselves in Florence shoes, it's like that's so suspenseful and scary, because it's like, oh my, where is he? You know?
hmm that was the scene I was referring to when I said there was a specific scene I definitely wanted to talk about. We will get into that. I absolutely love that scene. So when we're talking about this scene where Julien kills Mr. Karloff, the camera work, did you take note of that as well? Like how fluid the camera work was?
How the camera movements.
Yes.
Yes, I guess the thing for me, I was more paying attention to like, what did I say, a dialogue? I guess that.
Yeah, the writing, the
dialogue,
Yes, because, well, no, I guess that does go with the camera work too, because how the camera went to her sharpen the pencil, and then you go to boom, he's dead, and then it moves over here, and he's over here gathering papers, fixed up, to make it look like he shot himself. And then it moves to him getting this knife out and locking the door in a smooth way. So I guess that goes with, is that what you're talking about? Because that's
Yeah.
what I was paying attention to. Okay.
the camera work. So this film was 1958. The French New Wave, I've always considered it began with Breathless in 1960, Godard's film. But I saw a video today about how it started 1959. I have to look into that more. But this was not even a French New Wave film, but it felt very French New Wave. And there's a lot of similarities with Breathless, but also the camera work of French New Wave films, it's very orchestrated. There's some French New Wave that uses quick cuts. That was definitely used in this film, but there's also the fluid, planned out camera movement. And I love that. It was used especially in that scene. I noticed there was the focus on hands, like a lot of shots of hands. Did you notice that?
Oh, no. But when you pointed out, I'll probably have to look at it again to actually pay attention to that. But no, I didn't notice that. But it's cool that you did, though. I'm pretty sure we know there's just different things throughout the film, because one of my favorite things was the scenery. I know the black and white added to it because I love that film aesthetic, but even just the styling of the cars they used, I love Julian's car. And just how they were in Paris, right? Or it just looks so pretty, the scenery. I know it was way back in the day, but I just like it. I like the aesthetic of the film. Even the clothing, it just fit the mood of the film.
Yeah, Jeanne Moreau's dress throughout the film was stunning on her. It's funny that you mentioned the scenery because they purposefully tried to make the film more modern than it was. The building that Julien is stuck in, there was only like one or two buildings like that in Paris at the time. Trying to make the film more modern than it was really kind of predicted the future of Paris, because 10 years later, Paris looked like this. It was so cool that they had this vision and tried to modernize the city, which Paris ended up becoming in the 60s.
And even with, when she was walking around looking for her lover, the shots of the cars and the buildings and the rain falling on her face, that's just perfect for a music video. Someone could recreate that scene just simply for a music video in black and white, because that's what's going to make it, more, yeah, just a sad song, a woman wants to write and then she remakes it. Just using that scene in particular, just simply with her walking around, minimum makeup. I just love that scene in that film. That was my favorite because I was like, it gives music video tease. I wish that I was thinking of a song that I like could be played in the scene, but I don't know if you've heard it before. And I was like, oh, this would sound so good.
Which song?
Lady Gaga, So Happy I Could Die, slowed. It's the slow version. And I was like, oh, that would sound so good. Because I know you would think, well, I'm so happy I could die would go with that. But if you listen to this slow version, my mind works kind of bizarre.
No, I am the same way. Like, I've been told I think differently than other people, so I get it. Which album was that from?
It's from Monster.
Oh, wow. Okay.
While
Yes,
ago.
and if you listen to it slow and you listen to the lyrics, even when she said, "When everything feels out of place, I touch my hair, I dust my eyes," it's kind of explicit, and then it's all right. And I love that lavender blonde. It just, I gotta send it to you.
Please do.
Absolutely.
When you listen to it, you have
Of
to
course.
watch the scene, and it's just gonna hit. And then hopefully you'll see my vision.
I'm so curious what that would be. It's funny that you see that as a music video inspiration and trying to find a song that you could associate with that scene. I know I told you that I made a short film recently with my friend Joshua that was inspired by this film. That scene was the main inspiration. So the character in the film, she's kind of wandering around and it's a voiceover, jazz music is playing.
Oh, and you said it's out where? I still haven't seen it.
It's not out. We have a few finishing touches to make, but we screened it and it got positive feedback. I was surprised. That was amazing. When we figure out what we're doing with it, I will definitely send it to you because I would be so curious your thoughts on it.
Yes, and you're doing that exact, like, you're not talking or anything. It's kind of like a silent film.
It's a voiceover instead of her just talking directly, like
on set.
You're just walking.
Well, yeah, a friend of mine who was my guest for the horror films episode, she was the actress in the film, and she was just wandering around, and yeah, it's very elevator to the gallows.
I'm interested.
I'm so happy
I'm so
you are.
interested. I love new, unique style things. Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Well, I'm gonna have to
figure out. That was my favorite scene. I was like, I don't want to disappoint her in her show and be like, she's gonna be like, you just like that scene. And I love with Julien, the husband, and this other things I like, but that scene with her walking around looking for him and just how the music was playing and the scenes going to her looking in the stores and even the internal monologue with her in the diner when the man was talking to her, the dialogue was focused on her inner thoughts. And I was like, oh my gosh, did someone make a music video and it starts off like that with their inner thoughts and it just transition into a song and she's just walking around the streets looking for her lover, just walking around.
You gotta make that. You gotta make that.
Because the thing is, the gag is, the song is also the internal monologue because she's walking around singing a song in her head. Because I know I do and other people do. We walk around singing a whole song in our head, a whole music video, making music videos and stuff. So I love that scene. And that was in 1958. The creativity sparks, and that's just what I love about cinema. It's so much you can get inspired by with just art, period. It's just very inspiring.
Absolutely.
And it blows
I'm so
my
happy
mind.
you just really motivated me to watch that film. And it's just like I was meant to watch it because I love that scene.
I'm so happy
and
you enjoyed that
I understand what
scene.
you're saying now. With her not wearing a lot of makeup, I was like, yes, I get it.
So this scene is the most famous scene from the film. But before I get into that, you were talking about the makeup just now and earlier. So Jeanne Moreau wasn't a star until this film. She had done theater, she had done some B movies, but she was described as unphotogenic. And when Louis Malle was very grateful that she agreed to do this film, his crew was kind of confused on why he would have so many close-ups of her, especially not wearing really any makeup. But that scene is what accentuates her beauty, and she's stunning. Like, she has no makeup on, and she looks incredible in this scene.
Yes.
So we were talking about the music, and Miles Davis did the music for this film, and apparently he recorded the score on the spot when watching this scene, which is
mind-blowing.
You brought that up. as they're talking, and I was like, yes, jazz does fit the old Hollywood films aesthetic.
Mhm.
It gives it like this fancy vibe. I hope that explains it. It made Elevator the Gallows just seem very classy, a very classy film, even though it had a suspenseful storyline and kind of a daunting ending. But man, I really love the jazz. And yes, Miles Davis, he did great. He composed it in one night, in one
Yes.
recording session.
Amazing.
That's impressive. No retakes. That's impressive. It's not easy being able to play instruments and orchestrate everything and make sure everything just sounds beautifully like that. It's not, they had to do everything organic back then. It wasn't a studio setup where you can tune this up and fix that up. No.
Mm-hmm.
So that was without any technology advancing. It's just pure.
Yes.
A pure score. So
he's another level, that guy. I mean, the score, it was just perfect. And to record it on the fly as he's watching the scene, that's another level of talent. So this scene, how would you describe her emotions as we watch her walking around Paris at night?
she was, I would say, kind of bewildered, perplexed, hopeful, because she was wondering where he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of like that.
So you just use some adjectives that I have not used in describing this performance. It is so hard to describe the emotions she's portraying. Some of the words I wrote down were vulnerable, sad, vengeful, confident, calculated. That was a big word. She doesn't come off that way in a lot of this film, but she really is kind of deeply calculated. She also seems like she is stressed, but she has this power to her.
Yeah.
Very enigmatic, really. Like, she's so subtle about it, too, which makes it even more powerful, I think.
Yeah. Even when she went inside the bar and she was getting some information on where Julien could be, so when I also saw that, that's why I was like, she was just being hopeful, trying to find him. And you said just subtly, like she wasn't making it like, no, like, oh my God, where's Julien?
Mm-hmm.
But she was just, wonderment.
Yes.
Is that a good word? Wonderment? Like she was in wonder.
That should be a word, if it's not. But I completely understand what you mean by that.
Yeah, so I'm going to say wonderment and bewildered.
Okay.
I'm going to say that for my choices.
That's fascinating. It's just so hard to read, and that's part of the genius of the scene while pairing the modern Paris scenery. I mean, there's a shot of her, I don't know if it's in this moment, but there was a shot of her, it's a shallow focus shot, and the lights behind her are, just these white spots. It's just beautiful and just stunning cinematography. At one point, she thinks she sees him, and she says, Julien. The camera quickly moves to the car, and it's not him. The camera work there was so perfect to how that feeling is of like, oh, I think I saw this person, and then not.
Yes. And then, the scene when she walks up to the man,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't even give her the umbrella. I was like, it's raining. He's not going to give her the umbrella.
Nope.
But no, she just went on and went to walk, and that caught my eye. I was like, this is supposed to be a romantic city. You're not going to give her the umbrella, but yeah. I really love that scene. I actually had watched that scene twice.
Oh, wow.
I had rewind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched it twice, and then I just finished watching the rest of the movie. And I was like, I want to watch that part over.
It's a very captivating scene.
Yes. I was like, this is too good.
Mm-hmm. And it's so simplistic. Like, it's just someone walking around, no words are spoken. It's just this jazz score, black and white at night, and it's mesmerizing.
Yes. I really liked it. And I understand why you like Miles Davis' score.
The score for this film by Miles Davis was regarded as historic. I was reading this really great article from The New Yorker by Jack Chambers. He says, the use of jazz and jazz-derived soundtracks became so predominant that jazz came to seem like the natural backdrop for high-speed chases, mass mayhem, and cold-blooded murder, because the films for which jazz players were enlisted were uniformly violent. A jazz score attached to violence. I never picked up on that.
When I sit here and I think about it, that is true because I've seen it in a lot of films. When something bad is about to happen, and the film is usually jazz or it gets to this kind of slow vibe type of music. And that's crazy.
I'm kind of surprised that it's associated with violence. I mean, the article continues with saying, there's nothing violent or sinister in Davis's music for Elevator to the Gallows, which, despite its occasional origins, is both an enduringly mighty set of performances and a document of a hinge moment in Davis's career, as the French release of the soundtrack sessions, featuring the entire batch of recordings in their original order and form, makes clear. Have you seen any... I mean, you said that it makes sense, but are there any films that you can think of that also share like a jazz score that become attached to violence?
Yes, in a lot of violent movies I've seen. I don't know if you watch a lot of Black cinema films, but yes, whenever something's about to go down and happen, it's like jazz or it gets to some slow R&B song, and that's crazy. Now that you brought it up, I don't know. You would think it would be like some rock and roll or some hip hop or something like that. Some very upbeat. No, but that's crazy now.
That's interesting you specifically say Black cinema because the article goes on and says, given that jazz is essentially an African-American art form and the movies were made by white producers, the association is both all the more unpleasant and all the more unfortunately explicable.
Wow. It's like that, though. Whenever something bad is about to happen in a film, whether it's, someone's about to get robbed or someone died or someone's about to, rob a bank or something, gets to a sad music. Not necessarily sad music. It's just like I don't want to say sad, just like a slow vibe type of sound. I don't know if I asked you last time, but did they win any awards for the film or?
I forget. I don't know how well they did at the French Oscars. I think it's the Caesar Awards. I'm gonna look that up now.
I know. They have their own.
Oh yeah, the
award.
Yeah, it's their equivalent to the Oscars. Kristen Stewart was the first American actress to win the Best Actress award at that ceremony.
And what's it called?
I want to say it's the Caesar Awards. I could very much get that wrong, though. It's been a while since I looked it up. So the film won one award.
What?
I know. That's shocking. Now, let me just see what this is. Oh, man. The French pronunciation. Prix Louis de Le. Louis Malle won that. Do I know what that means? No.
But...
So, Jeanne Moreau, she didn't win anything for her performance.
What?
That's wild. It's such a subtly powerful performance, and I mean, I guess what this film did for her was it just propelled her to being a huge star.
Oh, okay. Opened the door for her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll take that. But she deserves, the Oscars really well. What are the most important categories? Like, do they have anything about, like, artistic vision? Or is that just something music?
They have art direction.
Art direction, okay. She should have been nominated for that.
She should have been for Best Actress.
Yeah, Best Actress. And what else?
Cinematography should have
been recognized. Yes. Direction,
the
especially.
Score?
Oh, well, the score would have easily won an Oscar.
Okay.
Louis Malle probably would have been nominated for Best Director, especially for this to be his first feature. Amazing.
Do they have anything at the Academy where they honor and show like love and respect to older Hollywood films, where it's a category where they vote on old films as well?
No, but that would be an interesting category. It just kind of focuses on that year in film.
Well, that sucks.
There are some like honorary Oscars that they hand out. I don't know if we've talked about her, but I know we always talk about old Hollywood icons and iconic actresses, but Liv Ullmann in the past few years, she won an honorary Oscar. I'm looking now to see if... Wow, so of Jeanne Moreau's whole career, it doesn't seem like she was ever recognized by the Academy Awards.
What?
I'm shocked.
She hasn't won any... What awards have she won?
The big awards that come up are BAFTAs. She won Best Foreign Actress in 1967 for Viva Maria. She won the Academy Fellowship BAFTA in 1996 and was nominated for Jules and Jim in 1963, but that was just a nomination. At Cannes, she won Best Actress, 7 Days, 7 Nights, 1960, and the Honorary Gold Palm in 2003. Oh, yes, it is the César Awards. That is the French equivalent to the Oscars.
Okay.
This would be a good indicator. Her first nomination was in 1987. What?
What?
How long has this award show been going on then? Okay, we're going on a whole tangent, but it's okay because this is related to the film. You're talking about Jeanne Moreau. Okay. It started in 1976, so not as long as the Oscars have been around.
Okay, I looked up her awards. She didn't do too bad. She just deserved more. She had 22 wins and 9 nominations.
Mm-hmm. If the César Awards were around in late 50s, 60s, she would have absolutely been awarded more, and she should have won easily for Elevator to the Gallows. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on French cinema yet, but I imagine she would be one of the frontrunners. But yeah, she just gave such an excellent performance, and...
Yes.
Let's see.
So you really like her as an actress?
I do. I've seen her in a few films now. Another one that you should check out, La Notte. She also did Jules and Jim. That was a very famous film for the French New Wave by Francois Truffaut. And that's one of her most famous films, famous roles. Bay of Angels was good too. She played a very interesting character in that. She had like a gambling addiction and kind of entrancing of a guy. But yeah, I love that you love this scene as much as I do, it seems, because, you know, a lot of people today may not appreciate it because it's not in color or it's subtitled and many other reasons. But it is simplistic, it is beautiful, and so much is being said without words being spoken. And I love that you
pointed out this scene.
But the thing is that I love scandalous love stories.
Okay.
You know, and this film just caught my eye when you told me about it. You know, 2 lovers plotting to kill the husband and start a new life and ultimately get instant karma is a film worth watching. You know, we love a good plot twist.
Oh, I love a plot twist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this film had a plot twist. Would you say the ending was a plot twist?
For me.
Mm-hmm. For her to be the one convicted and caught. And it all just made sense. I mean, she's following Louis, and the cops find them at the motel. Louis is captured. Julien was questioned, which, by the way, when he's questioned and interrogated in that room, the lighting, it was just pitch black, and it was just only on him and the other cops. Classic noir lighting. I loved it. Deep shadows. Amazing. But Veronique, she was seen in the newspaper. Would you imagine something was going to happen to her as well?
Yes. Only because Florence had locked them in the room. So I was like, oh, well, it's a wrap for them. But then they got the spare keys, so...
The whole thing was so anticlimactic. I mean, she locks them in, and then they just, 2 minutes later, oh, there's a spare key in there. They just open the door.
I was like, oh my God, this is so many plot twists going on here. Like, why would the spare key be right there? I don't know. Okay.
When they saw her doing that, they must have just, I mean, especially Veronique, it's her place. Just like, that does not do anything. There is a spare key. It's such a quick little moment, but that's funny.
Yes, for sure.
She does come across as vulnerable, but there is that darker side to her that we do see at the end.
Yes, but I mean, in my opinion, the darkness is there throughout the beginning when she's on a phone call with him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she's having an affair on her husband. Her and Julien are lovers, so.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny because we start off with darkness, and then it almost, in a way, fades. We don't feel that dark tension surrounding her as much. She's truly, as you said, she was just looking for her lover, Julien. And that becomes the focus. But then at the end, it like circles back, as really everything does. Everything ties together perfectly at the end. And she's the one convicted 20 years in prison. Another thing that was interesting was she was wandering all night, but I guess you're not allowed to do that at that time in France, because in the morning she had to be brought into a police station with a lot of other people in a van. So the cops are kind of hanging around, and once she says her last name, it completely changes for her. She's given special treatment. They even call her Car for her. The Carla name is it's powerful. So a cop comes over to her and asks her her relation to Julien. She's stunned. She says she's met him a few times, and she's asked questions. But I noticed in the acting in this moment was very telling of Florence. She's not blinking, and she's staring, heightened and awake. This is one of the most reactive moments of her, but it's not through dialogue. It's not through emotionally loaded language. It's through her eyes and her facial expressions.
Yes.
One of the golden rules of film is show, don't tell. And this film does an excellent job at showing and not telling. You mentioned the writing, which there were a few lines that I wrote down. We did say, we'll only be together in the headlines. People will talk about us. So circling back to your Bonnie and Clyde comparison, that's probably the most similar way Elevator to the Gallows and Bonnie and Clyde connect.
Yes.
Bonnie and Clyde are forever linked through media, through headlines at the time. We've been talking about Jeanne Moreau and her character Florence and Julien. There's another storyline going on, and that is, as we've talked briefly about, Veronique and Louis. Veronique is interested in, she has so much respect for Julien. And we kind of are introduced to Louis. He's this like, I kind of compared it, have you seen The Wild One with Marlon Brando?
No.
It's this motorcycle biker movie with like the leather jacket and the hat.
Is it
Oh, yeah.
kind of like The Outsiders?
I don't know if I'd say The Outside. Gosh, it's been too long since I've seen The Outsiders. But that kind of bad boy look of like the leather jacket, the motorcycle, breaking the law, that kind of image. And when we first meet Louis, he has that image. He's wearing that kind of jacket. He seems like he's kind of looking for trouble. He's been in trouble in the past. And he steals Julien's car, which he left running when he goes into his office building when he forgot the rope to get into Carola's office. So Julien, he leaves the car running, then he gets stuck in the elevator. So Louis takes the car. Veronique is like, no, you can't do this. This is wrong. You shouldn't do this. And they go off, very similar to Breathless, the film that launched the French New Wave movement. And they drive off to a motel where they meet Horst and his wife, an older couple from Berlin. And, they change their names. Louis is concerned the police will look for him, so he calls himself Julien, Mr. and Mrs. Trevaillet, which adds to the confusion in the headlines the next day about the killing of this foreign couple. One of the things about these two couples is the difference of generations. There's a lot of talk about war in the film, and through the writing, we learn they are completely different. Horst is encouraging popping champagne. They didn't have this during the war. And Louis says, my generation has other things on their mind. So, did you think about this kind of war-focused dialogue that was used throughout the film? I mean, even before Mr. Carola is killed, they're talking about war then. And him and Julien have like this disagreement, sort of. And did you think about that deeper on what that could mean and what Malle is trying to say by including these topics in the film?
At that time, was it a war going on, or?
They had just gone out of a war, and they were entering the Algiers War, I believe.
In Paris, like in real life?
I believe so. I mean, there was a war that had just ended, which Julien, he fought in that war. So he was this war veteran, which is another reason Veronique respected him. But there's also a new war with Algeria. But this dialogue about war is sprinkled throughout the film. I've been trying to make sense of it, and I can't fully.
That's what I'm saying. Like in the real world, like during that, because I don't keep up with World War One, World War Two. But when was World War Two?
That was, well, for the US, it's different. It was shorter. It ended 45.
Okay. What about Paris? Like, have they ever been to war? Because maybe what the director was doing was trying to get, the viewers, trying to also have some relatability.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if that's what's going on in the real world and he put it in the film can be more relatable, which also probably helped him, achieve that award that he won for that film.
Maybe, yeah.
Did you ever see what it was that he won? Because now I'm interested. I know you said he won something.
I don't know what that awards is. I assume that's a director award or a best picture type award. I'm not sure. So from 1939 to 1940, the French Third Republic was at war with Nazi Germany. So I guess 1939 to 45?
This was made in 58. So, that was just my theory. Because a lot of men I know too, just like the women could probably relate more to Florence, the men watching the film could relate to the men, especially the dialogue about war.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why the director also put that in there to keep the men engaged.
Interesting.
That's just my hypothesis.
Huh. I'm going to think about that further because I wonder if that did play a part.
Do you think scores are important in films? Like, do you think they need to all be 10 out of 10 every time?
Ooh. It's interesting because scores in film, I go back and forth because sometimes, like in this film, there are points where there is absolutely no score, yet it's very tense and, your heart is pounding and you're anticipating what's going to happen next. And then sometimes it's used more often in this film as a jazz score, and it's excellent and it works perfectly. I think scores are often overused probably today. There's not as much silence in films, and that can be a powerful thing. There's a film called The China Syndrome with Jane Fonda and Michael Douglas and Jack Lemmon, actually. There's no score throughout the whole thing, and it's a paranoid thriller. And you wouldn't even notice it, and you wouldn't want a score. So I think when a score is used properly and well, it's excellent, and it's worth being in there. Now, I noticed with a more recent film, Oppenheimer, a score was used often throughout the film, but I feel like anything that Christopher Nolan does is an exception because he makes it a masterpiece. So, and the score for that is, people love that score. So, we've talked about the score with Miles Davis, but there were some scenes that lacked a score, like when Julien is trying to get out of the elevator and there's flickering lights and he's frustrated, but this whole scene is not emphasized by a score. Did you find moments like this without a score to be effective?
Well, I guess not having it play throughout the film made you appreciate the scenes that did have the sound. I guess you could look at it that way, but I didn't mind. I felt like the film was very cohesive. And like the scenes that needed the score, especially when Louis and Veronique had stole the car and they was in the car and they found the gun, and just that whole scene was dope with the score playing. Keep saying jazz, but with the Mal Davis score playing in that scene, definitely fit that.
That was very Breathless. Have you seen Breathless? I know I keep referring to it.
No, I didn't see it. Oh, I thought you were saying that film was Breathless because I was like, yeah, because I could relate to it. I was like, oh, please don't tell me I'm about to go have a drive and go shoot like random people. I thought that was what they was about to do, go like round town shooting,
Oh, really? You thought that?
Yes. Because,
Wow.
they had the car, the jazz music started playing, and I'm like, ooh, but they didn't.
So early on in the film, were you already thinking about Bonnie and Clyde?
Yes.
Interesting. So maybe that's how you kind of got that idea.
Yes, because two lovers, them plotting to kill the husband. I was like, oh, this is some Bonnie and Clyde stuff about to happen in this film. Like, they are about to kind of like get away with murder, go start their new life or something. So that's what I was thinking what was going to happen. But no, it was definitely a plot twist. Definitely not the ending I expected.
The Bonnie and Clyde film came out about 9 years after this film came out.
Oh.
Yeah, but the Bonnie and Clyde,
Like the
Oh,
real
so
Bonnie and
this
Clyde.
was, wow.
yeah, so Bonnie and Clyde was 1967. That was one of the first films that kind of started the new Hollywood movement in America. But Bonnie and Clyde, the real life story, I mean, that was before Elevator to the Gallows came out. So it still could have served as inspiration.
Okay.
I imagine it did, especially with the line of, "We'll be together" in the headlines. When they were all hanging out at the motel and they were taking pictures, did you think that that camera and photos would come back to haunt really everyone in the film?
No, absolutely not.
It seemed very innocent the way Horst's wife was taking pictures and everything, but Louis like freaked out by the camera. And that's when Veronique accidentally called him by his real name. But Horst already knew that they were not who they said they were.
But I didn't think it was going to go down like that.
No, oh my God. So there ended up being some killing.
Yes.
Poor Horst and his wife were the victims.
Yes.
Another Bonnie and Clyde element to it.
Yes. You never know. Maybe someone saw this and got inspired, a little inspiration to make Bonnie and Clyde. Because it just gave me Bonnie and Clyde, even with that scene, because I did not expect him to shoot him.
Yeah.
I didn't.
There was almost, maybe you sense this too, this feeling about Louis that he is not as tough of a guy as he tries to put out, like presenting himself as tough when he's really not. Did you get that feeling from him too?
Yes, but I felt like he wanted to impress Veronique.
Yeah.
I felt he did all of this for her.
Mm-hmm. And then they went on the run to
Her apartment.
and
Yes.
Florence caught on very quickly. There was a change in her with this because she starts going around. She knows that the flower shop girl was pictured. She goes to the flower shop. She demands to know the location of her apartment. She's very direct. She's very quick. And she means business. She's serious.
Yes.
The way she like walks into their apartment and she's like showing the newspaper and everything. She's like, "I know what you've done." She's very intelligent. She connected all the dots.
Exactly. And shout out to the director for just even having this in the storyline, because it definitely just flows together, very cohesive. You know, even though it's noir crime, it still has a mystery element to it.
Oh, definitely. I think I've heard some people don't even refer to this film as noir, but I think there's some more.
Oh, it's noir?
I definitely think it's a noir film. It is regarded as such, but there are some people who kind of say maybe it isn't noir, but I don't get it. It is very much a noir film. I mean, the lighting, the story, the characters, the femme fatale, it's perfectly a noir film. I watched this interview of Louis Malle in 1975 for a Canadian show called Parlons Cinema, and he said, "The theme of night, of solitude, of characters' paths interweaving, seeking but not finding each other. Characters on the fringe of a certain social milieu, breaking away from it, like Maurice Ronet, who appears to belong to this world of big business, but who doesn't fit in." So, in that description, he's also describing the common themes of his work. He described this film as oppressive, modern, and a bit unsettling. Man, I can't believe I didn't write that part down about what he was saying about noir, because it was fascinating. So I know I asked you this last time we attempted our Elevator to the Gallows episode, but Julien gets stuck in an elevator. Have you ever been stuck in an elevator?
Once.
Once?
Yes.
How long were you stuck?
I don't remember how long. But just, yeah, once before.
I hope it wasn't for a long time.
Well, yeah, it was a long time. I don't know the exact time.
It just seems like a nightmare to be stuck in an elevator. I'm going to knock on wood right now that I never have that experience. But Julien was stuck in an elevator throughout the whole night.
Mine happened recently.
Oh, really?
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
It was a crazy experience. But it wasn't bad, though. It wasn't nothing bad. It happened Halloween.
Oh
my
Yeah,
god.
someone was playing, so.
Were you by yourself?
No, I wasn't by myself. They had shut it down. You know how you can turn a key off?
Oh, yes.
I can't
Carlton did
say that was technically stuck in there. Well, I was, but it wasn't like, you know, like stuck. It's just that it was playing, scaring people. But I don't know how long it was. what, 30 minminutes?
Ah,
45 minutes?
that sounds awful.
It's okay. I'm going to get my look back. I'm going to get my look back for sure. But that's why I was like, maybe it's meant for me to also watch, Elevated to the Gallows. So I did, and I'm just happy because I really love that scene.
Yeah. And the shot of he lights a piece of paper on fire and we see it falling down. That was a stunning shot.
What shot?
Where he's in the elevator, but he lights this little piece of paper on fire and he drops it and we see this small piece of paper in flames falling down the elevator shaft. There's no score playing. We're just watching this small piece of paper in flames falling down.
I didn't see that part. I know, I saw the part with him getting on the rope, trying to get down there. I must have got up to do something and missed that.
It was very short. It was a very quick
moment. Okay.
But,
that's what I'm saying. I probably got up to probably get something to drink or something.
Okay.
Can I tell you something about Plex?
Oh, you did watch
the game?
Mm-hmm.
If you pause a lot, you're going to have more ads.
Really?
Yes. It's best you just let it play and let them give you the minimum ads instead of giving you the max ads. Yes. I have paused like twice, because I don't like to talk on the phone when I'm watching something that I'm really trying to get into. I know I got like 2 phone calls last night. They were just some short, quick.
Mm-hmm.
I had one thing. I had 9 ads.
At once?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, I'm not going to pause.
That's
and
insane.
I noticed when I did not pause, I had like, 3, 4, but
So it's like a punishment. You
pause, so we're going to give you
double the ads.
I guess so. That was insane. Phones glitch sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your tablet, computer. But the TV, I was like, I don't know. Maybe that was like a glitch moment or something. But yeah. From now on, if I do watch on there, I know not to pause.
Now I know. Thank you for telling me that. I don't want to be stuck in a infinite loop.
That's the thing that sucks about apps where you can watch movies for free, the ads.
Mm-hmm.
I understand advertising, marketing, yes, get yourself out there. It's not the advertisers, it's the company. Like, I feel like Crackle, Plex need to, do the ads, of course, but less is more.
Yes.
Distribute them out in different areas and stuff, different films and TV shows or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
I completely agree. That's why TCM is superior. No ads, no editing of content. Beautiful. Another thing about the writing that I wanted to mention, there's a line. Horst says this to Louis when he tells him, all right, we know you're not who you say you are. Don't get struck by lightning. You gave us a good laugh. That's such a great poetic line, and I know you are someone who appreciates old Hollywood, and the writing in that time was just different. And
that scene,
that line, it's just out of old Hollywood. Don't get struck by lightning. You gave us a good laugh. Ah, beautiful line.
Yeah, I like that. Now that you've pointed it out and emphasized it, I definitely... Okay, I can see the poetry. Don't get struck by lightning. You already gave us a good laugh. Yeah, because of the metaphor, because as dark humor, if someone gets struck by lightning, it's like, oh my God, I hope you don't die, but what the hell?
Yeah. Yes.
How do you get struck by lightning? Like, seriously? So, I like that. I'm probably going to say that. Don't get struck by lightning. You already gave us a good laugh.
Since
we're such fans of these older periods of film, we really should bring back some of these poetic lines. We would sound so smart and people would be like, oh, that is beautiful.
Oh, we're actually probably going to do that when we do the Marilyn Monroe.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's so many lines.
That's a special episode. I'm excited
for that
too. There's also, have you seen Double Indemnity?
No.
Originally, that was going to be the film I was going to ask you to do for this noir episode, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But you would love the dialogue, the writing in that.
In this what?
It's called Double Indemnity with Barbara Stanwyck, Fred McMurray, directed by Billy Wilder. That is like the epitome of noir. It is, oh my God, you would love it.
I'm gonna see where I can find it and watch it.
If it comes on TCM, I'll let you know. I'm always looking out for that one.
Absolutely, of course.
So you mentioned a scene earlier about how Florence is looking around for Julien and she's surveying the people in a restaurant. And you were talking about the writing and some of the dialogue. I wrote down one line. I don't know if this is how she starts her inner dialogue, where she says, "I shouldn't have kissed you." And she goes on this whole thing about how much she loves him and what they've gone through and all the mess that's kind of created. There's so much mystery. And I mean, she's wandering around at night looking for him, yet she thought she saw him in the car with another woman. Veronique was seen in the car, but Louis wasn't. So she's still devoted to him, despite possibly being cheated on.
Even though she's cheating. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
so funny.
That's so
but
true. That's a good point. Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I felt like she was confused and perplexed. But when we dived deep into it earlier, I was like, based off her seeing Veronique and thinking she was with him and she was just in wonderment, but still wondering what is he doing with her and wondering if she's probably going to see him later, still, see him, or wondering if he was going to leave her like she planning to leave her husband. Well, get rid of him so they could be together. So she was just in wonderment and bewildered, perplexed. It was just dope. I just like the storyline. I just wish that something would have flipped or happened to where they could have escaped, and been together. That's my only complaint. That's all. I can't help it. It would have been the film is great. And I feel like that's probably why it didn't win a lot, because it didn't have the ending that I want. And I know that's crazy, but yeah. The romantic ending where they get away. It would have been like the perfect romantic story, because even after all this, he got stuck in the elevator. He didn't got his car taken, identity theft, and y'all still ended up together. Wow.
It seems like she was going to wait for him. She was going to get about 20 years, probably. He was going to get 10. But she was so devoted to him, no matter what, that not even jail would taint that. Like, she just loves him so much. And I wonder, so we really don't know much about her relationship with her husband, but what do you imagine that relationship is like, since she is cheating on her husband with Julien and he is an arms dealer, so he's a powerful man. What do you imagine that their story kind of is and what went wrong with them?
Probably nothing went wrong. Probably that she loved Julien and that's who she wanted to be with, and start her life over with. It was probably something like that. Because even when she was doing the inner monologue in the bar, she said he got cold feet. He couldn't pull the trigger. Like, she really wanted to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what it was mostly about. And I feel like that's like the thing, probably why we don't have the backstory, because coming from her perspective, her husband didn't matter. All she cared about was Julien.
Yeah.
So
that was her sole focus throughout the entire film. Where is he? How can I meet up with him?
Yes. She was determined.
So if you were to rate this film out of 10, what would you rate it?
I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Wow. I love that.
I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Only because I wanted a different ending. But other than that, chef's kiss.
The scene of Jeanne Moreau
walking around, that in itself is just 10 out of 10. Just to single out a scene, complete 10 out of 10.
Yes, because I love this scene, and I'm telling you, perfect for a music video. Now, not just any music video, the song gotta be good now.
Oh, absolutely.
To match that quality,
it has to be an excellent song. So you host a podcast, Red Room Radio, and I got to be a guest recently, which was so much fun to talk about Jayne Mansfield. And as we were talking about before this podcast, we have upcoming episodes for people to stay tuned for. So tell me about your podcast. What is it about? I know you're a pop culture commentator, so
Yes.
is your podcast very much pop culture focused?
Yes, my podcast is very much about popular culture. I love music. I love film, fashion and all that. But also my podcast features, conversations such as late night chats, smoke sessions, fun episodes. And yeah, just my world over there in Red Room Radio is just a very diverse, versatile world. This may sound lame or corny, but it's like a box of chocolate.
No, it really
You never know what
is.
you're gonna get. So yeah.
It really is. You have different episodes each time. Like, you just did an episode with Industry Shakedown, which was great, and
Yes.
you did an interview with R. Kurt Osenlund. Am I saying his name correctly?
Yes, I did a pop culture Q&A with R. Kurt Osenlund. He is a former editor at Out Magazine, Slant Magazine, Playboy.
Wow.
And now he's a creative director and account director at Mark and Allen. The company is a PR company where they help make people famous.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yes, and he's a pop culture fanatic.
Did you know him? Like, was it hard to get him as a guest?
It just happened. Like, I wouldn't say fell into my lap. It's just the way that it all played out. I was like guided to him in some way. One thing, led to another, and ooh, voila. He's very creative, a very creative director. Very great editor, very great journalist, very great person, very fun to work with.
Yeah. What an established guest. That's so cool.
Yes, my first big feature, I guess you would say.
Wow.
And I enjoyed it. And I can't wait to reveal the more people that I'm going to be working with in the future. I have a lot of demands and requests from my listeners on who they want to hear and who they want to see. And it's hilarious.
Do you have like a very active community of listeners? Because that's amazing to establish that. I mean, you started in May on Spotify.
Well, yes, they follow me on social media. So, Instagram DMs, Instagram replies, Facebook DMs, Facebook replies, Snapchat, message me that way about what they would like to hear. Can I speak on this? Or they'll send me stuff that they see. And if I like it, I'll speak on it. If I don't speak on it. But yeah.
And they're all so different, and they're all great in the way you edit them and infuse quotes and music. I love it. And I hope everyone checks out Red Room Radio. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Thank you.
And iHeartRadio as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, everyone, please check out Red Room Radio. It's so good. Every time I listen to an episode, I'm in awe of your crafting of episodes. It's so good.
Thank you so much. And I enjoy coming here and listening to all the film things. And I'm getting into cinema. I'm more of a music connoisseur, but I'm really getting into cinema and film. And I thanked you earlier, but I want to thank you again. I really want to begin checking out more foreign classic films. You definitely brought it to my attention, made it aware, and it's actually good. And if the cinema is good, I can get through the subtitles, and that's okay.
So you're good with subtitles now.
Yes.
Yes.
If you loved Elevator to the Gallows, which you gave it a 9 out of 10, I'm so happy you enjoyed it as much as you did, and you enjoyed Belle de Jour, which we'll do an episode on in the future. There are so many more I could send your way, and we can do episodes on. I'm so happy you're enjoying these classic foreign films, because not many people watch them, and they're too bothered by the barrier of subtitles, and it's a whole other world.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on today. I'm so happy we talked about Elevator to the Gallows. This is the first foreign film episode I've done, and I love foreign films, so thank you so much for watching
Of course.
this. Again, thank you so much for coming on. I always enjoy our collaborations, and there's many more in the future.
Me too. Yes, very excited.
Is there anything else you would like to plug or mention, like a film quote, a film recommendation, anything you would like to end our episode with today?
Actually, nothing today.
Okay.
Well, I do want to say, watch Elevator to the Gallows. It's very good. And yes, you have to listen to subtitles, but It's very good. Check it out.
Don't be afraid of subtitles, everyone. It's not
so bad.
It's really not bad.
It's not.
As you said, it's an excellent film. Everyone, I hope you have a happy Noirvember. And thank you again, Cristina. Thank you all for listening. Until next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Keep up with Cristina and her podcast at XO Red Room Radio on Instagram. And to make sure you never miss an episode, follow Red Room Radio wherever you get your podcasts. Special thanks to Cristina Santiago, Max Alvarez, Cole Echeverria, Caitlin Fitzpatrick, Helena Amador, Catherine Jakeway, Taylor Donaldson, Dina Vo, Craig Pedroza, Graham Zelinsky, Janine Sarah, and Sammy L. Kamel. This episode was recorded on November 10th, 2023.